Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Blacksmith's Furnace with the return of the one, the only, the best half of the furnace. Yes, correct. That is me, Robert.
Well, this disrespectful maths. Your boy Pete, I'm here.
Well, technically, because there's only two of us here, I am the better half. So the fractions are fractioning today. But they're fraction always.
As usual, I shall remain the humble half.
I'm the humble half. I'm the humblest half.
Yeah, Mo couldn't make it today.
I couldn't make it on my grand return to the furnace. I know you missed me.
Evidently wasn't important enough for Mo, and I tend to be committed to things, so I turn up anyway. You know.
Nah, you missed a few.
Rock and the Rockstar in the building.
Rock and the Rockstar.
Welcome.
Come on. Cool. We doing one for one?
Let's do one for one.
All right.
Have you got a question? Or? Yeah, go ahead.
I do. So it was actually based on a story I was reading today, actually.
Okay.
There was this vicar who has been asked to step down from his church, just because ever since he's taken over, things haven't been moving forward. So like building work hasn't been working, congregation isn't growing, it's actually falling. But he refuses to stand down because he said that he's listening to the Holy Spirit. So he's doing what he feels like he needs to do. But members of the congregation, the organists, people in the choir, I think administrative people within the church are leaving in protest, saying either you go or we go. So what would you say to this vicar in the situation? Should he continue to listen to what he believes is the Holy Spirit, or should he do what's good for the church, or what others might deem as good for the church and the growth of the church, and step down?
It's difficult, right? Because, well, actually, it's not difficult. Here's the thing. I think if you're ever in a situation where amongst, generally speaking, all of us being God-fearing people, or amongst God-fearing people, everyone's a God-fearing person. You know what I mean? For instance, in a church situation, a church leadership situation, in a place where there is a good likelihood that everyone there can be expected to be at a certain level of spiritual maturity. If the majority of people, and in this case, if everyone is saying you should step down, and you are saying you shouldn't step down, at some point, I think, there has to be two things. There has to be a recognition that maybe you're wrong. And if the majority of people are saying A, and there are people who there's a good chance that they have a good opinion on things, and they're all in unison against you, maybe the problem is you. The alternative, and actually it's not even an alternative, but the other way of looking at it is, you could still very well be right, but for the sake of peace, for the sake of unity, still step down. And I say that to look at like Christ saying, should he pay taxes? Should the son of the king pay taxes? And Christ very much would be well within his rights to saying, I ain't going to pay no taxes. I am God. Like, what are you going to do? But for the sake of like peace, he was okay, cool. Whose name is on whose face is on the money? Caesar. Right, give to Caesar what Caesar's. Like, you could very well have said no. The thing he demonstrates is sometimes hold the L just for the sake of the other person. Like, for the sake of sanity, for the sake of peace, sometimes hold the L. And so, whichever way I split this.
But didn't Jesus always say, I didn't come for peace, I came with a sword?
Yeah, but in context, he came with a sword, metaphorically speaking, to separate a mum from their daughter, because the daughter's going to follow Christ and the mum isn't. Like, it wasn't...
Well, maybe the pastor is the one that needs to be separating these people from, because they're not doing the right thing.
I think Yeah, I think in that situation, if the entire church, like leadership or something, are saying you need to step down, he needs to step down, you know. And also when like there is evidence of it, like as the vicar, I mean, I don't know how he's supposed to do construction and do all of these things. But if there's some evidence that he's not stepping up to the plate and he's not doing his job or he's not doing something, then yeah, step down. I think the problem is people tend to get very confident in their ability to hear from God, you know,
Mm.
and I think there's a danger there as well. There's a danger in thinking you know you're right, you know you're right, or you know you're the prophet, or you know you have this ability to hear from God, and so you ain't listening to no one else. That's pride.
But then, as a pastor, shouldn't you more than most people be confident in your ability to hear from God?
You should be confident in it. You should be confident in it based on the growth, based on the evidence. But at the same time, you should know that you're still human. You still have
Mm.
flesh. There's still a possibility that you could get it wrong. And the second you start thinking you can't, that's confidence in the flesh. That's confidence in yourself. Like if you think you can't be wrong, you most likely are. So
Not me, boy.
there you go. I mean, how often do you see it? Like, there was this video going around, and it was this pastor. I'll send it to the group after. It was like a Nigerian pastor, and like saying with all confidence, he was like, "If you get to heaven,
I saw that video this morning.
and I am not there," and then he did something with his goatee, "you have gone to hell." It's like, yo, you know, there are people that are going to be there like, didn't we cast out demons in your name? And Jesus would be like, I never knew you. So there should be a healthy, not necessarily fear or uncertainty or distrust, but there should be a healthy recognition of how desperately wicked the heart is, how desperately wicked our flesh is, and the fact that we draw breath with these lungs means our flesh is still there and we need to die to it on a daily basis. Anyone, like when people do that, I really worry. You know, when people act like they can't get it wrong or whatever revelation they've received is 100%. Like, have confidence, absolutely. The devil will try and then bring uncertainty, but have humility with it as well.
Yeah, yeah. I was
You
gonna
know,
say there should
so
be humility in your confidence,
yeah,
and the confidence shouldn't even be in you.
yeah,
If
exactly.
it's like the humility should come from the fear of knowing who God is, and the confidence
Exactly.
should be come from knowing who God is again and what He's done.
Yeah.
Um, it shouldn't be because you ticked off everything on the list.
No. And second, then that list becomes its own idol, or your efforts, your works become its own idol, and it's just like, nah. You know, even Paul said he could miss the mark. He could run the race and miss it. Like even he would give himself like the possibility of getting it wrong, and that meaning that he needs to stay on his toes to make sure that he gets it right. But yeah, so I'd say Vicar step down. You know, but
Cool.
yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Cool, cool, cool. My question is, how do you deal with stress? Have you got any new coping mechanisms? What's your coping mechanism? How do you deal with stress?
So
And is it biblical or could it be improved in a biblical manner?
I think it definitely could be improved. Not in not in what I do, maybe in order wise.
Okay.
And I think there are things that could be removed because I'm definitely a comfort eater. So when I'm stressed, whew,
What's your go-to?
it depends who's around.
I know that. Yeah.
if if Andrew's not around and I know she won't see me, going straight to that burger shop, bro. Smacks, getting that big smack burger meal with the 5 breaded wings.
Oh.
Bro, they know me that they know me down there. Yes. So I do stress eat. But if there's nothing that will satisfy me, I'll go for a walk. I'm a
Okay.
I'm a walker just because walking helps me process my thoughts a lot better than standing still. So I walk somewhere to go and buy some nice things to eat. Kill two birds with one stone.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I know what I should do is take the stresses to God first, and I'll usually do that after the walk, after I've had the time to try and think and scheme my way out of whatever has been bothering me.
Right.
And I think that just inherently, just because I try and find solutions to everything, or try and work out everything by myself. Um, but I've been learning, especially within marriage, that sometimes sometimes the answer you can get from your mind isn't the answer that's needed for a situation. Or you might or you might not know the answer altogether. And sometimes the logical answer is not the right answer. Some would say. Some not being me, but yeah. And if I'm in a position where I can't go for a walk or a pace, I'll journal either on my phone or in the actual book. I don't do that as much as I should, even though that it is very cathartic. Just get like the act of writing is quite cathartic, and it does help just get all the millions of thoughts in my head out onto paper. Yeah. So if I had to rearrange the order of things I would do, I think I'd probably. I think I'd go walk, take it to God, journal, and then follow those fail. Go to Big
Go
Smacks.
smacks.
Come on. Oh my days. So before, if I was going Smacks, I wouldn't tell Andrea. And then, and so she wouldn't know I was going. I'd pay with my Monzo card instead of the joint account. So I wouldn't show the statement.
Oh man.
But then when you use Google Pay, it like does like a notification on your phone.
Yeah.
And one time I just forgot to clear it. And then so one time she was like, "Oh, what do you have for lunch today?" I was like, "Oh, I just had some rice." These times she's seen it. She's seen the Smacks.
She set the trap.
Oh yeah. And you know, that was the point where I like really learned that like lying in the marriage isn't worth it.
Yeah.
If you got to Smacks, just say I've got to Smacks. The worst you could do is tell you off or say, "Why didn't you get me some?" You know, I'm not going to get divorced because I went to Smacks. But yeah, so if you're in a marriage, don't lie. Unless you have to, then you can lie.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
But yeah,
Yeah, I'm happy. That's fairly healthy. At least you recognize where it's unhealthy, but you do have
yeah.
some healthy coping mechanisms in there, which is quite good.
Yeah, I try. All right, let's get into the topic or the first topic. We might just go
Cool.
through a bunch of stuff today.
Let's go.
There was a topic that I've been wanting to speak about for a few weeks. So I might start with that. Robert De Niro
Okay.
and now Al Pacino.
Okay.
Do you know what they have in common?
Their names end in the O sound.
Okay, it's okay. So they're both very old, and they're both about to be fathers.
About to be fathers.
Yeah. Yeah, so they both got girlfriends, and their girlfriends are both pregnant with their children. And so there's been a bit of discourse on the internet about whether it's irresponsible for them to be having children at such an old age.
Yeah.
And I have my thoughts about this. I might just go on a bit of a rant just before, just so I can give you some time to ruminate your thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. You can't be upset at Robert De Niro and Al Pacino for having children at this age, but then support single motherhood.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Because if your thing is that their old age will deprive them of a father figure sooner rather than later, and you understand that a father figure is important, then you shouldn't then be championing single mothers, because those women are intentionally, or maybe not intentionally because they picked the wrong guys, or intentionally because they just chose to not be with their baby daddies, or they got pregnant so them keeping it, even though that wasn't part of the plan in the first place. Or I made other things. You can't then celebrate them and say you're doing a great job, and then say these guys are responsible. It's either the fathers are important or they're not. I think both are in a position where they've got enough resources that their children will be looked after. I'm sure both their mothers are. They look all right. They're all right, you know. And like when they're sitting on that Alpacino, Robert
How's that
Deniro money.
relevant? Yeah.
No, I'm saying that it won't be like they like. I don't think they'll be the kind of women that will be going on Kevin Samuels trying to get advice on how to find out find a man. You know. I'm pretty sure Robert De Niro's baby mama is like a martial arts expert.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool. All
yeah.
right.
So they look good. They've got that old money. If they wanted to find a stepfather for their children, I don't think it'd be that difficult. You know, the kids are set up for life. You get to be De Niro, a Pacino, with the money that comes with that. They're good. That's my thoughts on it. What do you think, Peter?
Yeah. I think it's unfortunate, right? Because whether it's society, whether it's just our expectation, immediately you go to, yeah, they'll have enough money to be catered for. But I mean, how old are they? I don't know. I know that
Who?
they're old. Both De Niro and Al
Let me
Pacino. I
find
know
out.
that they're super old. And so I say that just with the practicality of, today's society. We're not in the age of
Okay, so Robert De
Methuselah
Niro
and
is
Abraham.
79. His girlfriend is 45.
Okay.
Let's see, Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Al Pacino is 83, and his
Okay.
girlfriend is 29.
Let's go. Oh,
So she's in it for the money. She was in it for the money anyway. The baby just
no, she loves his
secured it.
character. She loves his
Oh,
character.
nah,
They
the
have
character
lots
of
of
his money.
discussions. No, so I mean, yeah, you immediately go to the money will be there to take care of these kids because the parents are rich, and the reality is a 79-year-old, an 84-year-old, they haven't got another 30 years in them. I don't think. Just statistically speaking, how many people are living to 100, as it were. Well, they probably eat well. They probably have got the money to sustain themselves. So yeah, but then at 84, at 79, are you keeping up with the kid? Are you able to actually interact with the kid as much as you'd want to? And so, unfortunately, we look at it and look at they've got the money, which will sustain them, but will they be able to be the best kind of fathers? Will they be able to be the kind of father that they would have been in their 30s, 40s? Probably not. And so it's unfortunate, I think, that we end up looking at the money, and as you said, we don't actually look at what it means to be a father. And I think that's indicative of where society is at, where, again, to your point, we'll champion single motherhood all day, but then not really think of the consequences of not having a father in the house. It's funny you bring this up because I was listening to like just a YouTube short, and there was a lady giving a presentation, and she said statistically in America, I believe, children raised in two-parent household with a mother and a father, statistically are less likely to go to jail or encounter the juvenile system. Interestingly enough, they have the same statistical probability of doing that, of going to jail or getting engaged with the juvenile system, as a child that's raised by only their father. So it's either mother and father or just father. And then single mothers, obviously, they have a significantly higher likelihood of going to jail or being in or being in the juvie system. So it's very interesting how little it seems we rate the role of the father, and where there's now, I haven't checked the stats myself, there's now statistical evidence that actually the father is a very, very pivotal part, or plays a very, very pivotal part in sort of getting the vast majority of kids into a good place in society. So I think it's,
And
yeah.
I think that there's just like, even though, like, I know for, like, even if you look at African parents, like, fathers are there, but they may not be as involved in the rearing as mother might be. I was watching this like video on Instagram. There was this like 3-4-year-old. He was bawling his eyes. Mom said, "Come to bed." He was like, "No, I don't want to go to bed." His dad comes quick, says, "Go to bed." Jumps in the bed, silent. And I think that the role of fathers is to do that kind of thing, where it's not like, they may not have as much presence, but their presence holds a different kind of weight when they're around. Not that it's more important than the weight a mother has, but
No.
it's a different and as equally important weight
Yeah.
for both girls and boys.
And boys, yeah. And I think that what it comes down to for me in answering your question is, I don't think at that age, maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't think that they will be able to be as best a father as they can be, if they were younger. They might still do a bang on job, and best case scenario, they've done all the work they need to do. They're gonna be home. They're gonna be with the kids. That's great,
Maybe they could be good grandfathers to their children.
Good grandfathers to the stress. They've got the money. They could make it work. Like there's a scenario in which they make this work really well, and all the heavy lifting is done by the help, nannies and whatnot. But they're there and they interact and they have a big part in their kids' lives. Best case scenario, they can make it work. Likely scenario, they're just gonna throw money at the problem. And you're gonna have another group of kids growing up with a father that's not really there. I wonder really how, the kids that end up being just sort of child support kids, I wonder how they feel, if when they grow up, do they think about that? Do they consider actually the only reason I was there was so that you can get a paycheck? Like how does that affect a kid? So yeah.
I think it depends on the amount of money that they get in.
I think not. Did you ever see 50 Cent's kid? And
that guy's such a mess. He is an absolute mess.
It was like so ridiculous amount. I was like, what, 2,100 or something a month? And I was like, oh, can you live on that? I was like, yeah, I can live on 2,100 for free. I can live on that. Yeah, I was so entitled. It's just like, but again, it's different when. When the parents are there, and it's funny, like you talk about fathers. I was watching a video on this. He was a pedophile, and it was talking about the kind of kids he targets. And a big part of it is the father around? Is the father active in the kid's life? Is the father someone that looks like he could be dangerous? If it's any of those things, those kids don't get targeted as much.
Come on.
It's the absent father, just the mother, or like a weak-looking father, and so it's like, yeah, it's unfortunate. It is what it is. Hollywood is weird, So there's the super young 29-year-old having a 80-something-year-old daughter is.
And she'll be celebrated. Yeah, they'll say, "Yeah, Queen, get that bag." Come on.
It's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's not about the bag. It shouldn't be about the bag. But alas, what are you gonna do?
But when the bag is Gucci, Peter, it's about the bag. No shame.
That is mad. That is mad. That those guys are still kicking around. It's crazy.
Okay, what do you think is worse? Having a child at like 80, like these guys,
Yeah.
or having poor kids like Nick Cannon?
Do you know what? I'd say Nick Cannon's situation is worse because I think Nick Cannon's situation will be harder to be actively involved in those kids' lives. Like, especially when you got that 12 and you haven't necessarily, it's not like 12 with a wife, it's 12 with different women, if I'm right.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I don't know what the distribution is, but it's 12 with different women. So it's 12 with different women that you're not necessarily in a full-on relationship with. Is it really practical that you are going to be spending as much time with these kids, especially when you have to make the bag to pay that child support bill?
Mm.
You know, and so that means you are working, that means you are busy, that means you are wilding out, you know. So
Hey, I see what you did there.
yeah. So I
Shut
think Alpacino them lot are probably in a better position because you're old, you've probably done all the work you need to do, you can retire, and you know, yeah, you could just be the best granddad to your kid. At least you're there.
come on.
You know, at least you're there. It's mad though. Yeah.
Yeah, because Alpacino was old enough to be his girlfriend's
Oh
grandfather.
yeah. Yeah.
So that's his great
It's hard
grandchild.
optics. It's hard optics, man. It's hard to say she's there for anything other than maybe she's a big fan. Maybe she's just a big fan.
Yeah, I mean Scarface, boy.
I still
Scarface
haven't
was.
seen Scarface.
Well, yeah, you need to watch Scarface, just even if it's just for the culture.
I need to watch Transformers. Is what I need to watch.
I heard that it was abomination.
Oh, don't say that. Toby Nigue's in there, and
Toby who?
Toby Nigwe.
Who's
He's
that?
a rapper. He's a rapper. He's in the movie. And then the guy, the main character, who, oh, for whatever reason I've forgotten his name just now. He was in the original Hamilton cast, and he's a singer. He's in The Heights. He's a really really good singer. So I'm really
Mm.
wanting them to do well, but yeah.
But I don't feel like Transformers movies are movies you go and watch because they're made well. It's,
No, but that was the Michael Bay era, because Michael Bay was all about stupid explosions and half naked women.
so who
Like
does it
that,
now?
it's a different director now. I forget who it was. It's not Michael Bay, which I'm thankful for.
All right, well, you go and watch it and let me know how it goes.
And it's the one with the Beast guys, the Maximals.
Mm.
I really wanted to do well, man. I really wanted
Yeah,
to do
but
well.
isn't that like a plot hole? Because wasn't those guys the Transformers, but they got their cores put into the animals? Because I'm pretty sure the gorilla was Optimus Prime, and then
No, 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 no. He was a descendant of Optimus Prime.
are you sure?
Yeah. He
When
was
that was the
always a
Beast Wars
descendant.
cartoon, it was like Optimus and them
Like
guys got
Optimus
put
Prime
into.
that then got transformed. No, because I think even in the thingy, because even in the thing, I think it was like it was a time travel thing where they're descendants, but they time traveled back, so they have interactions with Optimus Prime and them lot. But he's a descendant. It's the same spark of leadership or whatever, matrix of leadership or whatever. But he's a descendant. He's a primal. He's not. Yeah, I think that's what I remember anyway.
Okay, well we'll
That's always
see.
been a descendant. But yeah.
Speaking of movies, that's a nice segue on to our next topic. On talk the Little Mermaid a bit.
Okay. All right.
Have you
Cool.
seen it?
I have not.
Are you
No.
gonna see it?
For legal purposes, I'll probably say no. I have heard good things though.
Okay,
I've heard good things.
I've heard mixed things.
Okay.
I've heard mixed things. Did you hear about the people that were upset about how, it being set in the 1800s in Jamaica or 1700s in Jamaica, that they didn't talk about slavery enough in the movie?
It's a kids movie. It's a kids movie. It
Well, you
doesn't.
had the chance to be giving kids the information about what was really going on during that time.
No. It's the same reason I don't care for Pride Month being a big thing in like primary schools. It's like I don't see it as necessary. These are kids, like it's a kids movie. I don't see it as necessary. This isn't the movie to, create some sort of revolution for the horrors of slavery. So no, I'm not upset about that. I think that's a bit of a stretch. It's a kids movie. It's not, it's not the vehicle for that message. It's a mermaid, and it's a coming of age story, and it's all of these things. It's not, it's not Coach Carter. It doesn't need to be.
Do you have any thoughts on Ariel being made into being turned into a black woman?
No, I don't. I think it's. I don't know if I've changed my tune on this, but I think it's like I don't care. I don't care. People are making noise about the what's it called? The likelihood of it being black. If she's under the sea and unable to get sunlight and stuff, that it's not practical that she'll be black. And like, it's also not practical that she'd be a mermaid. So what's the argument we're making here? But no, outside of it's for me. So this is the thing. When I say I've heard good things, I've heard that her performance is amazing. Like her performance, the singing, her doing, and also the fact that she acted those things probably staring at nothing, because a lot of it is CGI. Her performance is amazing. And so that then says to me, okay, was this a case of the best person got the job? Or was this a case of we're trying to do a diversity thing and this is part of our diversity quota? The unfortunate thing is that will be a question that hangs over this, because that's sort of been the argument nowadays is we're not having enough black people in stuff, and so let's put black people in stuff. And it's like, are we putting the best people in stuff, or are we filling quotas? And you don't want to be that person. The good
Have you
thing
heard
is,
about the Snow White movie where Snow White is now Latino?
are they making the Snow White movie with the Latino Snow White?
Yeah. Even though Snow White is called Snow White because her skin was white
White
as
as
snow.
No.
And there's been this like interesting things where it seems like it's redheads that are getting turned into black people.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that as well. Again, I really wish you wish it wasn't like a virtue signaling sort of response thing, and it's sad because there'll be people that will always be the question. Was this just a woke, we're trying to do this, or was this literally? Because I heard that Haley was the first person they auditioned, and when she sang, the director cried. And from her performance, it seems like she did really well. And so it's like, okay, maybe she was just the best person for the job. And that's perfect. If that's the case, perfect. But there will always be that question, like, was this a woke thing? Was it just...
So counter argument, if they decided to recast T'Challa in Black Panther, and the first person just happened to be, let's say, Tom Hardy, and then the director was blown away by his performance as Black Panther, and he decided he was the best person for the job, should people then be okay that Tom Hardy is now the new Black Panther in the heart of Africa?
See, this is the thing. Maybe he's a South African Black Panther.
Come on.
I think it's slightly different, because there, the person's race is very much like a part of the character. Like, it plays a significant part. Yeah, the fact that Black Panther is a black guy from Wakanda is a big thing.
Wakanda being a made-up country
in Africa,
which means because it's a made-up country, there's argument that all races could be in that country.
No, it's an African black country that represents an imagination of what an African country would be like if it hadn't been touched by slavery, but then it had the resources for and technological advancement as the West did. Like, and I don't even know if that's the I don't even know if that's the original idea behind Wakanda, because it was still Stan Lee that made it up and all of
Yeah,
that.
white
So,
Jewish man, you know,
yeah,
you
was
know.
that what he was thinking? Who knows? But that's what it's come to be. At least that's what the Black Panther movies represented. Was this was a country untouched by the colonizer that had resources, and the technological advancement of the West, and this is what it looked like. So it will be difficult to make an argument for a white person coming from that region natively to then become the Black Panther. Maybe we could make it. Everett Ross was taken there. What's his name? The White Wolf was taken there. Or Winter Soldier.
Yeah, man.
Maybe they got married and they
I
had
would have
kids.
Winter Soldier was going to be the next Black Panther. That would have been so great.
So maybe you could make an argument. Yeah, someone comes out and it's a white Black Panther. Cool, but I think there his race, and that African heritage becomes it's its own part of the story, and that was one reason why I thought Black Panther worked really well, because they didn't just make a black superhero; they made what, to me at least, was an authentically African superhero, which I think was very different from just making a black superhero like a Falcon or like a Black Lightning. This was at least to me, it looked like they really tried to embody Africa. Same thing with Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. They really try to embody the Asian experience. Even the fact, like, there's this one scene in that always sticks out to me, when he takes off the shoes and they give that its own frame, before he goes into the house. Because that's something you do in an Asian household, that's something you do in an African household. And we know the significance of it. You know, you go to your friend's house, like when we're younger, you go to your friend's house and like, oh no, keep on your shoes. And they're sitting on the bed with shoes. And it's like, what is going on? It's like, how? But those things, I think, where you're authentically trying to capture a culture, I think those things are real. You talk of Al Pacino and this guy, Denzel made the argument for why, I forget who it was, but it was a Jewish guy telling a Jewish story, and then it was an Italian guy telling an Italian story, and he made the argument for why a black guy needed to tell the story that he was in, because those guys know the culture. They know, and even the example he gave was, a hot comb touching your hair, when a woman's doing the hair of their daughter. That's a cultural thing that you need someone that's lived that to be able to say, to be able to really tap into those things. And so I think it would be different with T'Challa. I don't
But then
really
could you
care for the
argue
Little
that
Mermaid.
could you argue that African Americans don't know anything about African culture, so it should have been an African person as the director for Black Panther?
And I think that's why Ryan Coogler did a really good job, because he went to Africa. He went to Africa and he went into, trying to really capture what's going on. And I think even to be able to have that understanding, because that was Killmonger's thing. And that's what made Killmonger such a compelling villain, was actually, I kind of get what you're saying. Because he'd also lost that connection to his heritage, as it were, which is what a lot of African Americans feel, and so I think that's why, yeah, an African could have done it as well, but I think Ryan Coogler, being the guy that made it and being able to craft Killmonger the way he did, I think it takes him to do that, to be able to, one, try and get an authentic African experience by going to Africa and not just sort of researching, but trying to get with the people, trying to go to people's houses and doing all that, but then also telling that story of the disconnect, the African American who is somewhat cut off from their, land of origin, and telling that through Killmonger. And that's why I think that first Black Panther was such a good movie. You can't just get a white person in there, because that race, that story, that history is very much part of what makes it unique. That's not Little Mermaid.
Yeah, but Little Mermaid will always be white girl, red hair. That's Ariel, bro. You can't go in the, and then they even make her hair red.
Here's the
It
thing,
was,
though. Here's the thing. That's Ariel to people that have watched it.
no,
Yeah.
that's Ariel.
No. People haven't watched. Some people might not have watched The Little Mermaid. People might going into this never having watched Little Mermaid. Will the fact that she's black have any effect on that?
Onto
So someone goes into this movie and this is their first exposure to the Little Mermaid. Will the fact that she's black have any relevance to the story?
I don't know. I'll have to go and watch it and see.
I don't think so. I think someone can walk into this having never watched The Little Mermaid, never knowing Ariel was a white, redhead, and the fact that it's a black girl won't matter to the story.
I feel the problem is like a lot of these black people when they're put into things, they're very, very heavy-handed when it comes to black issues and stuff.
Do they do that with Little Mermaid? I don't think they do.
I haven't seen it yet, so I wouldn't know. I might go and see it.
I haven't heard they do. Anyway,
yeah. I'm definitely gonna. I want to go and see Spider-Man. Miles Morales.
Yeah. But you see, that's the thing. If someone goes into a Black Panther movie and sees a white guy, like it'll feel weird. Like, why is the white guy the king of this African country? Like, is this colonization all over again? Like, what's going on?
Okay, question.
It'll be weird. Yeah.
Question. Let's say they wanted to redo Tarzan and they made him black. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Make the black guy king of the apes.
I think whoever writes it, good luck. I think the actor that does it, good luck.
Yo, someone should do that. To be honest, at this point, Jonathan Major should do it because that's probably the only way he's going to get for
Jonathan Majors, man. Relax.
Do you see he's going out with Megan Good now?
I saw that. I saw that. And the first thing I was like, is this a good idea? But, yeah, she's older maybe than him as well, isn't she?
By like 10 years or something.
The thing with Jonathan Majors, right? Apart from me not being able to get over the fact that he's losing everything, and Ezra Miller's movie is coming out, is his mum's a pastor. And so I'm like, why couldn't you just like get married and like do the right thing and like get all this success whilst you're in a loving marriage and you go to church every Sunday? No, you might not be the best person in the world still, you might not be perfect, but like I feel like that would give so much more. It would just protect against so much more, like, yeah.
You would hope. Well,
you'd hope, but
why is he doing menaces just as much as girlfriends do?
Yeah, but then here's the thing, like, if you're living an authentically Christian life, you're not going to be perfect. But, I mean, it's hard to imagine, like, good Christians just being wild all over the place. Like, Denzel.
Define good.
Like, good is like you and me going to church, trying to do, trying to live by the Bible, trying to be a good Christian, trying and believing and like not anything super crazy, just trying, Like I feel like it you just wouldn't get a lot of these things.
But I feel like, that being said, I think there's a reason why the divorce rate within Christianity mirrors that of divorce in the world.
Yeah,
and I'm sure a lot of those people that got divorced were trying to live good Christian lives.
Yeah,
as well.
That's fair. It's fair, and it's an unfortunate truth. But yeah.
And it's so weird how the rate of divorce is the same.
Yeah.
Like we have the winning formula, but if you don't be applying the formula the right way, you won't get the result.
It's a hard formula. It's a hard formula that shouldn't be applied in your own strength. But yeah, it's not to say we've not made mistakes. The whole purity culture thing, the whole idea of men loving their wives as Christ loved the church is ridiculous, and can only be done with the help of God. The idea of women submitting to men in the way the Bible suggests you do is not possible without submitting to God, without God's help. So it's not an easy formula to apply. It's just our whole faith is based on the impossible being made possible. So ideally, you'd hope people would would be able to do it. But that's we're still people, aren't we? We're still people.
We're just ordinary people.
Oh,
We don't
you
know
shouldn't
which
be.
ways to go.
We should have all the directions within the Bible and with
Come
the
on.
Spirit that lives within us. But alas,
Come on.
yeah.
Is there any parts of the Bible that you feel like you use to as like direction for what it means to be a husband or like a godly husband?
Yeah. So, well, my ring isn't here. Like literally engraved in my ring is as Christ loved the church.
Where's
And
your ring, Peter?
it's in the wardrobe. Because I just got back from training. I can't wear jewelry whilst I train.
All right, so you're out here being single during training,
Yeah.
getting leg locked by all these women.
Oh no, just men.
That's even worse.
Getting all hot and sweaty. Very close, very intimate. There's always hair in my mouth.
Yo, and none of it your own.
None of it around. It's always blonde. If Anita wasn't my wife and didn't like know me, every time I come home, there's like blonde hair all over. So just it'll be easy to just like, who have you been with? Well, I was rolling with this guy and that guy. I rarely roll with girls. I've rolled with girls before, but yeah.
Come on, me too.
Okay. Not that kind of rolling. Not that kind of. But no. So the very idea of as Christ loved the church, I don't use it like, oh, this is how I do my stuff. It's always a challenge, but then that's like pivotal. Is at least as soon as I have the presence of mind to think of it, it's like, okay, cool. How does Christ demonstrate this? How does he love his wife in this? And so if it's like, sometimes even holding the L, because Christ held the L for his church, even when he didn't need to. So sometimes there'll be like situations where I'm like, I was right. I was right here. I'm just not going to like, I'm not going to put that in your face because Christ doesn't put it in the face of his church, and he will just hold it. I was like, cool, I'll hold the L on this, and I'll be patient here, and I will deny myself here. And I don't do it all the time. I don't do it anywhere near as much as I need to, but that's always my challenge, and that's how the Bible always sort of challenges me in marriage, especially. So yeah,
That's good. Oh, I don't think I have anything else to talk about unless you have anything.
No, nothing comes to mind immediately. I'm probably gonna think of it as soon as we jump off the call. But
Cool.
yeah.
You know what? Let's wrap up then because it's getting kind of late and it's past my bedtime.
Yeah.
Hookups.
Cool. Hookups. Oh, I didn't even think of hookups. What have I been using lately? TechWiser. So actually, I've got a video that I want to suggest, which is like 7 free AI tools that people can use. And it's really good. It's really good. From Bard, which is Google's AI, to an AI called video.ai that you can supply a video to, like a YouTube video to, and it will create Instagram shorts for you from the video that you give it.
Fam, I've been seeing this Adobe thing where you give it a picture, give it a prompt, and then it'll fill in the picture for you.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Dolly can do that. And you can even get like, I don't know if you ever use Telegram.
I think I've got it. I don't think I use it.
So there are bots on Telegram. You can use, there's a bot called, what's it called? I think it's just, I can't remember the name, but there's a bot that you can add to a group, and then you literally type /image and give it like an, robot standing in front of train station, and it will give you an image of a robot standing in front of a train station. It will create an image of a robot standing in front of it's crazy right now. And then there's like one scribe that you can draw, that can literally draw a stick, you can draw a stick house and give it a prompt and say, house on a hill or something, and it will give you like a picturesque based on your stick house that you just scribbled drawing. So yeah, Dolly, it uses Dolly. There's a bunch of AI tools. So this video by a guy called TechWiser, is an Indian guy. It's 7 free AI tools that you can look into. So that would be my hookup.
Oh, before I get my hookup, did you see the new Apple goggles?
Vision Pro, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that? That looked cool.
It looks cool. It's 3,500 though, or is it
I know.
4,000? It's ridiculous, yeah. But as I mean, who was I speaking to that described it like Apple always wait to jump on the bandwagon, but when they do jump on the bandwagon, they come hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like people were laughing at it, saying it's never going to catch on. I remember those same people saying those thing about those stupid AirPods,
yeah.
and now everyone's using the AirPods.
Everyone's using AirPods, and now even like the Android guys are making AirPod looking like sticks. Okay, yeah.
See what we want about
No.
Apple? They be setting pace on a lot of technology.
It's an early stage of the technology, but I think it's probably the way to go. Like, we know we've got virtual reality, but I think this sort of augmented reality thing is probably the way to go. And yeah, I mean, soon, they just need to get it small enough
And cheap
that
enough.
it's not crazy on your face and cheap enough that everyone can afford it. And that's not what this is, but that's what this leads to 5-10 years down the line.
Yeah, the iPhone used to be chunky. Now it looks beautiful.
Yeah. So
Yeah, soon it's just going to be a pair of sunglasses. You put the sunglasses on.
you got your phone.
Cool. My hookup is a YouTube channel. Devon On Deck. So that's DEVAN on deck. Oh, you seen him too?
He came up in my short. So
I
on
become
Sunday,
proud.
before you even give your thing, on Sunday, I wore 2 rings to church
Oh, because of him.
because of him. I wore 2 rings. It's funny. I wore 2 rings to church. I gave a little cuff to my shirt. How was I getting compliments? Like, Jamila was like, "Oh, where you guys going now? You look like you did some effort." I've worn that shirt before. I've worn that watch before. I've done
You just
everything.
rolled it.
Yeah.
That's what it took. Okay, so Devon is like a men's fashion guy. Yeah, I found him through shorts as well. So like he'll like say, "I'm going here, I'm going out. This is the outfit I'm gonna
Get
put
dressed with me.
together." Yeah, and yeah, so he'll do the outfit, do the shades, do the perfume. And yeah, check out his channel. It's really good. I don't think I'll ever be able to dress as well as him. Don't think I need to. I'm already married, so it's not necessary. But like he definitely does make me think about wanting to, try a little something. And now that I've seen that you are, I might try as well.
Yeah.
I might wear 2 rings on Sunday as well.
It's weird because shorts and they're like, and it's not. I mean, some of the stuff he's got is expensive. His watches are quite expensive, but it's also somewhat understated. It's not too crazy, like the way that he presents stuff, and it's like, it just got me thinking. I was like, you know what? Let me just see what this is saying, and let me just see. And I was like, yeah, just a few tweaks here and there, and then I was getting compliments. I was like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Right.
And like if you go to his like actual channel, he has things where he shows you like affordable versions of the stuff that he wears and stuff. Yeah. So if you were broke boy, you can still be looking fly. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's round up. Hopefully Moses will be back next week.
Yeah. Ooh. Yes. Yeah.
Why? What's happening?
Well, no, because we won't be here in near the end of June for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, going away.
Yes.
Don't worry, I'll hold it down.
I want to try and see if I can still come on. It's just I can't trust the internet out there.
It depends on where you're staying and like how good the internet.
We'll be in the village.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, will your laptop even be safe in the village, bro?
Oh, here's the thing. Yeah. One of my mates, just as we round up, took he had an iPhone, and iPhones have a water rating, like you can drop it in water and it's fine.
Yeah.
He took it to Ghana and they dropped it in the Ghana water. And it broke.
Probably turned into a Motorola, bro.
He's like, I thought it was going to be fine, but that Ghana water hits different. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, anyway.
Cool. All right.
Cool. Take us
Shout
home.
out to Rich for the intro outro music, Calvin Turner for the Audrey Amazing logo, Twitter @TheFurnace UK, Instagram @TBS Furnace, Email tbsfurnace@hotmail.com. You can find us at soundcloud.com/Black Sis Furnace, no apostrophe, on all good podcast websites and apps. Black Sis Furnace with no apostrophe. And that's it. So this is the Black Sis Furnace signing out. Blow.